She already told me to don't go over today, so I apologize. I'm a professional listener in this county, ladies and gentlemen, and I do my listening as a traffic judge. For those of you who recognize me professionally speaking, I hope your experience was a pleasant one. For those of you who I have not yet met, congratulations, you're good drivers. Keep up the good work. My name is Ken Gosselin. I'm a candidate for Superior Court Judge. And in a minute, I'm going to tell you how I'm going to win for RWF. But before I do, I'm going to talk very quickly about three things I think make a good judge other than a thorough understanding of the law: character, common sense, and constitutional obedience. I get that a lot on that last one. Now, I know something about these three things because for the last 3/4 of a decade, I've been San Diego County's only full-time Superior Court Judge pro tem in this county. And as a pro tem judge, I'm the one other judges call when they need personal time off, when they have cases they don't want to hear, or they have just too many to hear in any given day. So I end up going all around the county doing this. Other counties borrow me from time to time when I'm free, and I'm not very free very much these days. I was years ago when I first started, but not these days. Your county keeps me busy. I have been a judge in thousands of criminal and civil court cases, and I have been appealed successfully in only 3 known matters. Most of the time I get it right. Ironically, it was the same female defense attorney who caught me sleeping in 2007 all 3 times. She did a good job. She was right. I was wrong. She's one of my best friends now, and I got her on my campaign team. I keep my enemies close. So. Now these three things: judicial character, common sense, and constitutional obedience are important to you, because unless it happened to you already, someday soon there will be a judge like me making a decision about your life, your liberty, your property, perhaps all 3, that could change the way you live forever. I think it's time we pay more attention to our judicial vote, particularly at a time when nearly 20% of the people who vote in San Diego County elections, that's 1 in 5, don't vote for judges. That varies, but there's the statistic. Smart people who study these things tell us the reason we do it is because in our heart we know it's important, and rather than make a mistake, we abstain. I think it's time to change that idea. I hope you're with me on that issue. Judges, as I said, should have character. For nearly 8 years, I was a single parent of a physically disabled autistic infant, and my son, Max, survived 4 open heart surgeries, the first when he was less than a month old on a heart the size of a walnut. And I stayed by him from the moment he was born, when others couldn't or wouldn't, until we walked out of Children's Hospital for the first time in his life nearly 6 months later. I never left him. We've been that close together ever since. Max and I believe I have the character to be your next judge. Judges should obey the rules and should have some modicum of common sense. In a criminal courtroom years ago now in Riverside County, a defendant appeared before me on his 3rd charge of indecent exposure. According to the facts of the case, this gentleman needed a youthful audience to get a full benefit of his illicit activity. In 2 separate trials, 2 judges before me found this defendant guilty, and for good reason, I'm sure, suspended his jail sentence, leaving him with only a fine and probation. On the day we met at his arraignment for his 3rd offense, he pled guilty in front of me, and I promptly sentenced him to jail for the full amount of time prescribed by law. At a time when common sense is not so common anymore, I believe I have the common sense to be your next judge. Judges, as I indicated, should obey the Constitution, minimum requirements. When I took the judicial oath nearly a decade ago, I promised to obey the laws of this state and the United States Constitution. And I want you to know that I do that in every case that I hear for all these years, and I'm going to do it tomorrow and beyond, even when you're not looking. I think political speeches have a tendency to run on a little bit. Man, you're correct about that. Why in the world politicians use 25 words when 5 will do, I simply don't understand. I'm done, except for one thing. I'm grateful to the Superior Court of San Diego County giving me the opportunity to be your judge pro tem for all these years. The experience for me has been absolutely priceless. I need 2 things to win. I told you I'd get here. I need your vote, and I need you to tell 10 people to do the same thing. If you'll do that, then the day after the election, I'll go back to doing for you what I've been doing for you all along quite successfully, but this time I'll go back to being your Superior Court judge without that pro tem on the side. Yeah. One other thing. This time I'll be getting a bit of a raise, because for all these years, all these, so I'm told, tens of thousands of criminal and civil cases, nearly 25,000 miles a year on my personal vehicle that has been unreimbursed by this county. I have done it all as an unpaid judicial volunteer. My name is Ken Gosselin. I'll take your questions if you have them. No questions? Okay, I'll defer my time to Mr. Wilske. Thank you, folks. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you very much, Ken. All right, next up, we are going to have Bonnie Dumanis come up. Where is she? Oh, there she is. It's the same format. We have 10 minutes, 5 minutes for presentation, and then we have question and answers for 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Bonnie. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. I follow Ken Gosselin all over the county. He's the ever-ready bunny. Where did he go? Did he sit down? Oh, there he is. Where's your wife, Ken?
She's at the other end of the county, remember? So.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm Bonnie Dumanis. I'm your district attorney. I've been here before. I'm a federated woman for 20 years now. Yes. And I am proud to be your district attorney. I did serve, by the way, as a judge for about 12 years in court, both in juvenile and adult court. So those characteristics that Ken was describing are very important to being a judge. I've been the district attorney for 11 years. And I've been here, though, in San Diego County 40 years, even though I'm still parking that car in the Harvard yard. I'm very proud of the team we have. We have 1,000 employees, 326 attorneys, 110 peace officers, support staff in our own IT department. We have a Chula Vista branch down here, one up in Vista, El Cajon, Juvenile, and a lot of it downtown. Our team has a 94% conviction rate, one of the highest in the state, and we do 40,000 plus cases a year. We do everything from driving under the influence to rape, murder, child abuse, human trafficking. The things I've been focusing on lately, of course, one of the things I've focused on all along is my personal pet peeve is sex offenders. Trying to put them away for as long as we can has been my goal for the last 11 years. We helped write Jessica's Law, which was the first law to make it tough on sex offenders, and then Chelsea's Law, which was the next law, and I personally was involved with the King family in terms of that prosecution, and because of the relationships that we have with the sheriff and all of the involved individuals, we were able to find Amber, find Chelsea, of course, unfortunately, and get that defendant to plead guilty and go to jail for the rest of his life without any appellate rights within 6 weeks, which is totally unheard of. And that family to this day thanks me for that, because they see what happens when victims have to go through this for a long time. Human trafficking, though, in case you don't know, is on the rise. Not necessarily in abundance, but because we're aware of it. We didn't know what it was a long time ago. Now we do, where gangs from opposing sides are coming together to pimp young girls ages 12 to 17 from our schools. Not from the border, across the border, from our high schools. So we are joining with law enforcement to do an educational program in the schools, to do it in the public, and to prosecute and send those people away either in the federal system or in our system. We also are focused on elder abuse. Many of you may have seen that Supervisor Jacob, who is the chair, is really emphasizing that. So we are going to have 8 more people looking at assisted living homes to make sure that those who are abusing our seniors, either physically or financially, don't get missed, because right now it's not supervised very well. And lastly, what we've been seeing a lot of is cybercrime. And that would be internet crimes against children, but identity theft, hacking, like the Target hacking, and all kinds of internet problems. So we are processing those cases and brought people together on that. I'm running for re-election. I could talk to you forever, but I know that my fan club back there would get the hook on me. I do have 2 opponents. I am endorsed by the Republican Party, and by the way, it's good to know that there are Republicans in Chula Vista.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can I hear it loud and proud? Yeah. Okay. I would appreciate your support. I would appreciate your vote. We're going to do volunteer call time in the offices, the Republican offices that has Carl, Chris, Kate, Laurie, Zaf, that are going to do some phone calling and some walking, although the county is kind of big. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. I have endorsements by the sheriff, all the board of supervisors, all the city council, most of the mayors across the state. The county, Mayor Cox, of course, and the chiefs of police, and many, many law enforcement associations across the board. So, any questions? How'd I do for the timing there?
Good. Anybody have any questions? Any questions for Bonnie? Now's your time.
Speak now or forever hold your peace. We got a couple.
Okay.
Wait, this won't sound like a low information voter. But since I live in Imperial Beach, I'm not sure if I can vote for her.
That is a great question that so many people ask me. I am one of the county, the question was, can I vote? I'm in Imperial County, Imperial Beach. This is a county-wide race, so no matter where within the county you are, you can vote for me.
Thank you.
That's a great question, thank you.
Barbara.
Actually, I forgot.
You got so excited about that.
Elder stuff, you know?
Anybody else have any questions?
Your assistant DA, Paul.
Paul Greenwood, yes.
Yes, he did a marvelous elder abuse program for us, absolutely.
Excellent.
He gave his lunch out.
Yes?
Little church in St. Lawrence.
Wow.
So he was very good.
Well, he's heading up that unit, yes. And he is as gung-ho as, he's been doing this for, I think he said today, because I just saw him, 18 years, and it's just like it was yesterday.
So when he talked about Thatcher, I knew he was on the right side of the page.
Indeed he is. He's from New England, I'm from Old England. No, wait a minute, the other way around.
Really, really.
Yeah, really England.
I remember. Go ahead. On immigration, are we finding, I know that most people, especially in the South County, focus in on the Latinos coming across illegally. But my understanding is that it's a doorway for so many other countries, whether that's going to be from South America, Colombia, the Middle East, for them to be coming in. Are you seeing more of an influx of that type of illegal alien?
I was just actually at the border, got a tour of the border, and one of the things they said was just that we are, and especially because we were talking human trafficking, Korea, some of the Asian countries, they're coming through the Mexican border and labor trafficking as well, so almost like slavery. So we don't see it as much because if they're just if they don't commit a crime, then it goes to the federal for crossing the border without illegally, and the federal court can, the U.S. attorney can prosecute them. We only see them when they commit a crime. And I haven't really noticed an uptick in that, but we get, you know, people that are here unlawfully in every area. So fortunately, though, most of them don't commit crimes. About 5% of the people that are in custody are here unlawfully. And we lock them up for as long as we can, because even when you send them back down there, they're up within 24 hours. So you got to make sure you give them the time.
Okay, one last question.
My question is concerning elder abuse. This is a county-wide focus that's concerning the elder abuse and ombudsman.
Yes.
So, and so it's with the HHS also? Okay.
So the Supervisor Jacob increased the number of people for the ombudsman and for people that are going out to the assisted living. So we're hitting it at two different angles. One is she's working with the business community to come up with standards so that if you call or you look online, you have some idea about the quality of the assisted living care or the living care at a placement. Number two, she's increased the numbers of people that are going to be answering the phone calls and the ombudsman. And number three, we're doing more prosecution of it so that we can cover it. Because as she pointed out, we have a tsunami that's growing of seniors. We have 150,000 right now in San Diego County, but they expect it to double very quickly. So I know it's near and dear to me because my mom is still with me, and I watch out for her all the time, especially with scams. So it's a good program, and I encourage you, if you have any questions, to contact our office and we'll get you some answers.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bonnie. Okay, next up, our last candidate for today is Larry Wilske. Come on up, Larry. He's running for the 53rd Congressional District. And you're on.
Excellent, thank you. Start thinking of your questions now, because I'm going to ask you to make a choice, and if you've got some pointed questions, things you'd like to know, please give me your best shot. Today's a great day. In fact, I think it's a day that's one of the best days possible. And it's not because we're very happy with Washington or how the leadership there is going. It's not because the Affordable Care Act isn't doubling or tripling premiums and putting 80 million people on different plans than they ever wanted. It's not because we're happy with Harry Reid or Barbara Boxer or Dianne Feinstein or Susan Davis or any of them. And it's not a great day because I rode my motorcycle over through the rain downtown. The thing I think it's a good day is because each and every one of us are getting fed up. And when Americans get fed up, they do something about it. They mobilize. They don't get mad, we get even. We don't get angry, we take action. So I'm going to ask each and every one of you to take some action. I want your support in my candidacy for the 53rd Congressional District, getting rid of a Pelosi-cloned Susan Davis incumbent. Now, there's a lot of good Republicans that have thrown their name in the hat, and I appreciate each and every one of them. I, of course, am asking you to support me. My background's pretty simple. I spent the last 30 years in the military. I retired as a Master Chief out of the SEAL teams. I've spent more combat time than every other candidate in Southern California combined. I've had more combat leadership experience than any other candidate in San Diego combined, as well as the incumbents. I've had a lot of leadership experience at the operational and strategic planning level and staff planning level. As a Command Master Chief of Logistics Support Unit 1, I managed a $140 million budget and within 6 months reduced that budget 30% for the sole purpose of being a good steward to the tax dollar. I would defy you to find a single candidate that can make that claim. anywhere. What you're looking for right now is somebody to go champion your cause in Washington. Somebody you believe will stand tall and fight for you. Somebody who's sworn an oath to this, our Constitution, time and time again. And that oath wasn't to support and defend Republicans or Democrats or independents or Tea Partiers or people of any different race, color, and creed in our country. That oath was to support all Americans. And folks, if we're going to take the right action on the road ahead, it can't be about red or blue. It quite frankly has to be about red, white, and blue, because we're all sick and tired of the divisiveness, aren't we?
Yes.
We're tired of the fight, and we're tired of people blaming each other. How about people that have lived in a life of accountability? In the military, you're accountable to each and every person you work for. In leadership, the higher up you go in the military, that means the more people you work for. See, that oath I swore was me writing a check to you. And it said on the bottom of that check, on the pay line, is my life. Do with it what you will. I can never unswear that oath. But right now, I'm asking you to write a check to me. And you're going to send me to Washington with the power of you, the people. Because I understand who I'm applying for this job. This is part of my interview for you to be my boss and send me forward to Washington to do your bidding, instead of having Washington tell you what you're supposed to do. And that is the road ahead, and that's the right job to do. And quite frankly, that's why, instead of this great retirement plan we had, we put that on hold to continue service. See, there's a demand signal in Washington right now. There's one thing missing in Washington: leadership. Congress has got the worst approval rating in history. Congress also has the least amount of combat veterans in history. Those things go together. The world I come from, leaders are servants. Servants are humble, and humility and kindness are the bedrock of courage to go forward and stand up for our Constitution that I love and you love dearly. So folks, I'd like your support so I can go, I'd like your vote so I can go to Washington, turn around and actually vote for you. Questions? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Larry, I'm your boss. The internet domain system is going to be up for renewal next year. How are you going to vote on it? Are you going to give it away to a world council like Nigeria, the United Kingdom, and all those people?
On all matters where the UN wants to intrude on our country, I'll stand firm and just say no. Yes, ma'am.
Where are the boundaries of your district?
Okay, it's a large district. It's a fabulous district because it shows where I grew up. If you start downtown San Diego, it's downtown east of I-5. And then you go out the 8 with about 2 miles on either side. And on the north, you have Linda Vista, Serra Mesa, Mission Village, Allied Gardens, Del Cerro, and it goes out to El Cajon. On the southern side, you've got Mission Hills, Bankers Hills, Hillcrest, Kensington, La Mesa, Mount Helix, and then you go down the 125, and it goes as far as the 805, so you get East San Diego, parts of Encanto, Spring Valley, Bonita, big chunks of Chula Vista. Excellent. Any other questions? Who's got a tough one? Okay, great. Ladies, thank you so much for...
One more.
I wouldn't consider it a tough one. What do you think the one thing that triggered your desire to run for office was?
My last tour of duty, she asked, the question is, what's the one thing that triggered my desire to run for office? And it's more than one thing, but I'll be brief. My last tour of duty was as the first SEAL Master Chief to teach at the Navy War College in Rhode Island. And when I got done with that tour, and it was exceptionally rewarding, my wife, who grew up in El Cajon, said, no more shoveling snow, we're moving back home. And we had a real nice retirement plan, and we were going to come back, and it was a great plan laid out. When we got here, I started getting a little bit of the political landscape, and I found out that Susan Davis, who's the incumbent in the district that I grew up in, hasn't been doing a good job. She's been voting 100% of the time with Nancy Pelosi, and our county, our state, our district isn't getting any better. So when there's a problem, I've got a couple ways to go. One, get right to the problem, or two, shut up. And I'm not going to shut up anytime soon, so let's get to the problem and see what I can do.
Any more questions?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you feel about the veterans' benefits?
The veterans' benefits being cut and then put back into place again?
Yes.
I thought that was a horrible decision. Somebody needed to stand firm in the first go around and say enough is enough. Now there's something about the veterans though that's being kind of poorly presented, if you will. As a disabled vet, people are very worried about the disabled vets and how the VA is not able to handle the throughput right now. Well, the VA is man-trained and equipped very adequately to do a great job with the projected amount of veterans. What's happened is we've got the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, or I like to call it Davis Care for obvious reasons. Well, the Affordable Care Act has taken insurance away from so many people. A lot of folks that are veterans are frightened. And out of that fear and that panic, they're reapplying to have their disability status reevaluated. And because there's such a flood of that as a reaction to Obamacare, the VA is overwhelmed right now. So again, that legislation has got so many arms that it's reaching into people's lives, it's ridiculous. And we need to get rid of it. Yes, ma'am.
How do you feel about the demilitarizing of our country?
Personally, I think it's criminal. Now, there is some things that are valid about where we are at the military right now, and I think we could be more cost effective. We could have a 5 to 10 year plan to retrograde a lot of forces from overseas basing back home, keep the size and strength of our military where it needs to be. In fact, I think it needs to be a little bit bigger, because our military needs to be internationally recognized as the least desirable last resort on our elements of national power. And if our military is designed right and viewed in the right perspective, then diplomacy, economics, information all have a chance. Retrograding our forces, downsizing our military gives a sign of weakness internationally we do not need. Thanks so much, ladies and gentlemen.